Good morning, everybody. Just got off work, working the overnight shift at Amazon. I survived Prime, so we are going to enjoy the next couple days off here. That's for sure. I'm off Monday and Tuesday, and also part of Wednesday, and then we'll get back to the grind. But it's good to be off. Thought I'd take a walk out here in the park to end my shift. Had a beer. I'll be honest. It's end of a long work week. Had a Modelo, maybe a Heineken. But I'm ready to make a video about why money is meaningless, why the endless pursuit of wealth is meaningless. And there's a proverb in the Bible that says, whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with wealth, right? They're never satisfied with enough. They're never satisfied or content with what they have. And they're always going to pursue more wealth, more money, more status. King Solomon had this same problem where he had, I think, the equivalent of 700 concubines, gold bathtubs. He was basically the richest king in the world of all time, right? Historically. You could argue there was other kings and all that, but the point is he was very wealthy and he had hundreds of wives and concubines. And he even said in the Bible, it is meaningless. All this pleasure, everything, that you're seeking in life, the thrills and the excitement, it's short-lived, And one thing I've noticed about money, and especially if you've watched my last video where I talked about how I became a millionaire on paper in the stock market back in 2021 and 2022. Primarily it was 2022, but when the market was still going crazy from post-COVID vibes. And when that was happening, I just remember seeing the portfolio shoot up in value. And though I felt excited at the time, I also felt a sense of I'm not really happier. And that's the problem, is that we get into this mindset of this is going to fulfill me. This is going to give me what I need. And in reality, it's not that simple. It's not that black and white. You can have more money, and yes, to a certain point, not having enough money to, let's say, afford your bills and afford something that you might enjoy every once in a while is not going to be good. And they are not a sponsor, Modelo. And yes, I'm drinking at 8 a.m. on a Sunday. I did just work 5 days straight during Prime. Peak is coming up in November, though. Good old Amazon, I tell you. This place is something else. But even then, there's people at Amazon who make 7 figures and they make huge stock packages. And the problem is that, yeah, you can make that much money, but what's it going to do for you? Is it going to sit in an account and accumulate interest so that you can eventually retire? Okay, that's a good goal. But why would we focus exclusively on money and instead focus on what you can do to achieve the goal of retirement, for example? If you really want to be financially independent and come out to the golf course, which is what this used to be actually, and I used to love this golf course, right over here you used to be able to hit it across the lake. And that was one of the most fun things. I loved every single hole on this golf course. But when they got rid of it, I was upset, right? Because this golf course used to be one of the best golf courses out there and around the area. But the point is, when you're thinking about golf, for example, let's say you actually wanted to retire and just play golf, okay? Let's say that's your goal. You just want to retire with $2 million and call it quits, okay? You can set your goal on the money and say that's what you need, but you can also say, I'm going to set this goal of retirement and this is how much I need to achieve this goal of retirement. So there's a different way of looking at it. You're not so focused on the money, but more of the action that you can take to get you to the goal. And if it means you need to start investing in dividend stocks so that you can rely on the income, for example, in retirement, then that's something you might want to consider doing. If it means investing in growth stocks to grow your portfolio to, let's say, a 6-figure range, and then, start investing more in dividend stocks, especially as you approach 7 figures in your portfolio, maybe that's something else. Now, here's the problem. People are so focused on the size of the portfolio. They're not so much focused on the quality of the portfolio and what's actually in the portfolio. And I'm guilty of this too, because you can build a stock market portfolio, you can put money away, you can have 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 stocked away, and that money can vaporize in an instant. And I actually learned this very hard lesson back in 2022 when my stock market portfolio in a single trading day following negative news collapsed 76%, and I lost well over $500,000 in a single trading day. And that was a real wake-up call. And so this stuff can happen, right? But at the same time, don't base your life upon how much money you have in your bank account, because at the end of the day, it's the same steak. It's the same beer. And whether you're drinking Modelo or whether you're drinking the finest red wine from Napa Valley, it's all the same after a while. And I've literally seen people who have a lot of money go out to restaurants. And my parents, for example, my dad, he is an attorney, right? So he's done okay for himself. He's hung out with some people who are higher on the wealth spectrum. And let's just say his best friend, for example, will go out and spend $1,000 on a bottle of wine. Okay? So is that really necessary? I mean, is $1,000 bottle of wine better than a $100 bottle of wine? What do you guys think in the comments down below? I mean, I'm sure many of you guys turned it off after I said I was an attorney's son. So anyway, get out of here. No, I'm just joking around. But thank you guys so much for tuning in on this beautiful Sunday. No, I'm just a working man. I have 3 kids, trying to provide for them. But it's a beautiful morning out here in Swansea, Illinois. We're just ending our work week once again. I thought I'd come out here and talk about why money is meaningless. And it's just the problem. Like, as a society, we focus so much on money. We focus so much on status. But we don't focus on what's important. What's really important in life, right? Your kids, being able to have a family, being able to spend time with those kids and that family, not having drama, having peace in your life. Those are all things that you want in your life more than money, much more than money. I mean, who does not want peace in their life, right? Why would somebody choose money over peace and ill health or whatever it is? There's trade-offs in life, but the point is, when it comes to whether you, for example, are somebody who is going to chase money or is going to, Jesus even said, you can't serve 2 masters. And I've been guilty of this. I've repented, because the problem is we get so focused on chasing money that we forget about everything else. We can focus on the goal of money, but there's much more important things in life than chasing the dollar bill, chasing these little pieces of paper that maybe can buy us a nicer home. Maybe we can have a view like this on a golf course someday. And maybe that's a really nice view. And maybe we can enjoy that view. But at the same time, if we never get that view from our house, we can still come out to the park and enjoy the view. And so that's the problem, right? We're so focused on material possessions that we forget what's important in life. And that's the point of the entire video, really. I just take a step back. Are people who have $1 billion, $10 billion, $100 billion like Bezos, Musk, are these people really more satisfied in life? Or do they just have magnified, experiences based upon their wealth status, negative and positive? I mean, they might have totally different perspectives. Yes, totally different everything in terms of what they're experiencing. But at the same time, it's still the same steak. I mean, after a while, how much can $10 billion do for you? I think Bill Gates even said himself, when he actually was already worth over 50 billion, he said after a while, it's the same whatever. It's the same car, it's the same house. Like, why do we keep on pursuing more? And it goes back to that proverb, he who loves wealth is never satisfied enough. And I know this channel is about money. I know this channel is about the stock market, but this also kind of goes back to the fear and greed thing. You might be up big on a trade. Why would you not want to take profits if you're up big on a trade? Don't make the mistake of not selling if you're up 100%, 500%, 1,000%, 2,000%. Take half, take 3/4 off the table. Take the full amount, but don't leave nothing. Make sure you're taking some kind of profits, because at the end of the day, you could have the best stock in the world. You might be married to that stock. But what I've learned in the stock market is that stocks are quick to divorce you. And you have to be careful, because the market is not a place of emotion. It doesn't care about your emotions. It doesn't care about your fear. It doesn't care about your greed. It doesn't care about if you lose money or make money. The market will do whatever it wants. And if you're in position ahead of time before those moves happen, that's the best place to be. And that's what we talk about on the channel, and we try to. But anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for tuning in on this beautiful Sunday morning. Hope you guys enjoyed the view out by the lake. Clinton Hills Golf Course in Swansea, Illinois. Now it's a nature conservation park. It also has many more ponds and many more animals, everything. It's just gorgeous out here. And, you know, for being in Illinois, I've lived here my entire life, and I'm really trying to get out of the state eventually, but it's still pretty. You know, the U.S., God bless America, you know, we have so many great places you can come out here and just look at and view. And it really is good. You know, if you're experiencing like depression, mental health stuff, come out to a park, you know, come out and view the lake, come out and view the birds, how nature moves, you know. These birds are not worried about their next meal. You know, they're just floating around, and they're gonna get food eventually. Why are we so focused as humans on our next big win, you know, on our next big Lamborghini or mansion or whatever it is? Why are we so focused on material things when there's so many things in life that are more important than that? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I know this video kind of got deep today, but I just feel like I need to get this off my chest, you know, because I've struggled with this for a long time. I have, especially growing up in America, growing up in the consumer culture, the, you know, entrepreneur, tech bro, you know, dream lifestyle where a guy creates a business from his basement and blows up to 10 million, you know, those types of things do happen. And it's exciting to think about. But at the same time, that excitement can only last so long. You know, there's something more to life than just those achievements. And anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. God bless you all. Hope you all enjoyed this video, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.